Hello, good evening and welcome. You probably know that Facebook's been having some problems today. I don't know why, whether they're doing some essential maintenance or whether they're being hacked, I've got no idea. But I've tried several times now to do the Facebook Live and it keeps cutting out. So what I've decided to do is to record a video and then hopefully I'll be able to upload it and post it a little bit later on today. I apologise for yesterday, I missed that because I got invited to a networking event and it sort of crossed over the time that I would normally do the live. So what I want to talk about today is a couple of things. Looking for the signs, looking for the main reason why X, Y, Z's happened, and also the difference between sadness and feeling low and depression. So what am I talking about? If you've gone cold turkey or you're taking some kind of therapy or some medication to stop drinking or to cut down your smoking, whatever it is, yeah, if you haven't actually found the reason why you kicked off with this behavior, somewhere down the line you are going to come a cropper, really. You're going to sort of relapse back into things, because until you've dealt with that thing, yeah, it's always going to be there, and you may make some really great progress, but then you get something happens and you go back, you regress to where you started from. You're going to go all over again, and unfortunately you get on this like hamster wheel we've talked about before, and the same kind of thing will happen. So what we need to do is we need to look back, we need to take some time and just, reflect on what caused this problem that we're having. Now, leading on from that is there's this big debate about whether we should be sad, and is sadness an illness like depression can be, and should we have these kind of feelings? And yes, we should absolutely have these feelings. It's a natural human process to feel sad and to grieve. It's a human emotion, and it manifests itself in different ways. I'll give you an example from me. In 2017, my dad died, and although we'd never been close, I'd not seen him for a long time, I didn't expect it to hit me the way it did. It hit me like a ton of bricks, and I just I went to a very dark place for a couple of weeks. I shut myself off from the world. I didn't go to work and all sorts of things. I had a Facebook group with 45,000 members. I ditched that. I had a small but thriving YouTube channel. I ditched that. I killed my Facebook page. I came off all the social media. I turned my phone off. I just didn't communicate with anybody. I mean, one of the reasons was I was still paying off my debt and living pretty much hand to mouth, and I didn't have any money at all. I'm talking not like, £5, and there was nobody I could borrow money from to actually go up to my hometown and be part of the what I can call it, I can't think of a phrase, but the grieving process, yeah, to go to the funeral and that kind of thing. And people hate me for that, and maybe rightly so, but I just couldn't face it. He'd got dementia and it really affects him really badly, and I didn't recognise him, and I went to this really dark place. And I'd learned how to manage my depression, all that kind of thing. And I realised that although it wasn't very nice at all, I had to go through it. I guess this was my way of grieving, my way of accepting that loss, that gap in my life, as it were, And also, I guess I was punishing myself for not actually going there and being with my family when they may well have needed me, And I've obviously had, some very negative feedback from that, but that's for me to live with. The point I'm making is that stuff happens and it will make us feel sad. It will take us to a dark place. And you have to realise that sometimes that is what the body needs to do. The body and the mind is one unit. So that's what you have to do. You have to grieve. You have to go to this place to get it through your system. Some people grieve for years and years and years because they didn't necessarily grieve at the time, or maybe that's how they're built. They just have to grieve, but they're able to manage it. The problem that we have is that when people start to maybe either try not to grieve and try to sort of put the issue to one side, and that can manifest itself years later with behaviours that you wouldn't normally recognise for that particular person. Like they might become, suddenly really angry about nothing. They might become really anxious. They might lose all interest in, sex, life, family, work, that whole kind of thing. They may overeat. They may not eat. They may take up smoking again. They may take up drinking again or start drinking more. They might actually just start cutting themselves off from life. They may do the minimum, the absolute minimum they can get away with, by still having a job and still being part of the world. Other people just disappear completely. They just, give up work, give up anything, and just bunker down in their home. And that's a bad place to be, because the thing that causes sudden recurrence happened years ago, and they weren't able to deal with it at the time. So this is why we need to take a really good look inside ourselves. Take the time to be somewhere quiet, maybe with a notepad or with something you can sort of jot down ideas about why you think you are where you are, so that you can then start looking at what it was that caused this problem, and then start changing your associations to that situation, because you can't carry this forever. It's going to wear you down. It's like if you were, going on vacation, you took 2 bags with you, and for the entire vacation you had to carry those 2 bags around on your shoulders for the entire time. That wouldn't be helpful. You wouldn't enjoy the vacation. You may well go home. But that's what a lot of us tend to do. We tend to build up this stuff, and then just keep it with us forever and ever and ever, until it manifests itself in such a way that we're faced with this insurmountable wall that we've got to get that we can't get through. This brick wall just appears, and we can't get round it, we can't get over it, can't get under it. And so what we do, we start burying ourselves in the addiction or the problem. But the good news is that you can sort it out. You can fix is the wrong word, but you can sort the problem out. You can get to the root cause of your problem, change your feelings towards that problem, and then sort of talk to your subconscious and actually say, look, I understand how you're trying to protect me by, making me drink too much or whatever, but I don't need that anymore. I'm a grown-up now. I can actually deal with that situation from a distance, change the associations and move on. You need to have this conversation so that you can move forward and actually quit the addiction forever and take the focus away from whatever was causing you the problem in the first place. Now, if you choose to work with someone like me, as you know, I use hypnosis to help people that are dealing with addictions and behaviours they don't really want. You work with me, you come in, and we've already had a chat on the phone, and we talk about what the problem is and where we think it comes from. Now, the interesting thing is that when you work with me, I don't actually need to know what the problem was, because it could be something that really you don't want to talk about, which is fine, All I need to know is that, we find out that there was something, and then basically we talk to the subconscious, explain that the behaviour that's manifesting now is not helping us move forward, and so we need to change some things, change the association and move forward into a better kind of behaviour. And this might seem weird, but within the space of an hour, you can make that change. You don't need years and years and years of therapy. You don't need 25 different thousand million therapies. You don't need to read loads of books or anything like that. You don't even need to suffer going through cold turkey, to be honest with you. You just need to spend time with me or somebody like me, get to that root cause, make the changes, job done, and you can move forward. It's very, very rare that we can't sort something out in one hit, as it were, Maybe a couple of weeks later, a small few, 1 or 2 objections might come up, but they're easily dealt with, especially if we've had the call beforehand, because we can go through all of these things and find out what objections you may be holding subconsciously to actually getting yourself sorted out. Because a lot of people can't see their life, can't see how their life would pan out if they don't have that thing. And moving that step forward to have life without that thing can seem really, really scary. And part of my job is to show people that it's not scary. It doesn't have to be scary. Life can be better without that thing, but it can be very hard to get across. So take the time, please, to sit down with yourself and, don't be harsh with yourself. Don't blame yourself. Don't say it's your fault. Don't take things negatively. It's a positive process this year, so you mustn't be hard on yourself. You mustn't punish yourself. You have to, in fact, you've got to be very, very gentle with yourself so that you can resolve the issue and move forward. Harshness and aggression to yourself doesn't help. It just makes things worse, in fact. We need to move very, very slowly, very, very gently when you're working with yourself, yeah? And it may take time, especially when you think, well, I can't sit down and talk to myself. That's just not done. I'd be a crazy person. You can, and it does work, I promise you. I actually use the processes on myself all the time because there's always little bits and pieces that can be improved upon, that can be changed, and it does actually work. So take the time, find out what that thing is, yeah, and then just change your feeling towards it. Just tell yourself gently that you don't need that protection anymore, that cocoon of drink, that cocoon of smoking, that cocoon of overeating. We can actually put that to one side now and just move forward with our lives. So that is it for now. Yeah, if this has been helpful, please, let people know about it, let people know about what I do. If you'd like to talk to me in confidence, please just drop me a PM or a DM or, get in contact with me with some way. Yeah, and we can set up a call and we can find out whether we're a good fit and whether I can help you or not. Thank you for watching. Hopefully Facebook will have its problem sorted out so I can actually be live tomorrow night, and I'll see you then. Bye now.